Okay, I wanted to do a few different experiments to help us with identifying real shungite from fake shungite, or even for helping us to identify noble or elite shungite, the more pure form of shungite, which means it's a higher carbon purity. So shungite has the ability to conduct electricity. It's not the only element or mineral that can conduct electricity. But it does have that one property that helps set it apart from other things that it might be confused with. This is a multimeter, and I'm going to use this to help us to identify what the different types of shungite I have here. Now, these are both real shungite. You might be able to tell the difference. This one has more of a silvery metallic sheen to it, whereas this is more black. They're both kind of metallic looking, but this is more silvery. So let's see what's going on here. All right, so I'm going to take the two prongs and from the multimeter, and right now it's reading a 1. And if you read other stones and you get a 1, or something that looks like shungite and you get a 1 on the left hand side here, that means it's not conducting electricity. That means there's a lot of resistance. It's an insulator, not an electricity conductor, and so then it would not be shungite at all. All right, so we're looking for some movement here on the right side, and we are indeed getting something. And I found between like 50 and 20 means that it's in the shungite family. Okay, it's not a 100% indicator, but now it's hovering around 15. So this is going to be shungite. And like I said, regular shungite is carbon mixed with other elements. That's natural. The more pure it is, the closer to 100% carbon, the least resistance it's going to have. It's going to conduct electricity really, really well. If it's super pure, it's going to go down to 0 here on the right-hand side. And that means it's having 0 resistance and conducting electricity very well. So you can see here that that one is shungite. Now let's compare it to this one. There we go. Okay, so this one hovering around 4.5, 3.5. This qualifies as elite. I would say if you had anything between 2 and 5, you've got yourself an elite or a noble shungite. If you get a 1 on the right side, that is super rare, really pure. And if you get a 0, that is even more rare. That means 0 resistance, highly conductive of electricity, and that's the highest quality shungite. So you can see this one's hovering right around 3. So this is indeed an elite shungite. Now, something else we can use is to check for conductivity of electricity is a mini flashlight. Now, I've seen a lot of people do this test and say if it lights the flashlight, it's shungite, and if it doesn't, it's not. And it's not as simple as that. Like I mentioned before, anything that conducts electricity is going to light the flashlight. However, you can determine the purity of your shungite by using the flashlight test. So let me just zoom out a little bit here. Okay, so this shungite I know from testing is not as pure as like the elite that I showed there. So we can judge that by looking at, I have the batteries and the flashlight, looking at how bright the flashlight illuminates. And it's shaky. It's, you know, getting some conductivity there, but it's not the brightest it can be. This one's a little higher purity. You wouldn't know it from this test though. And that just depends on how much carbon is there in the tip that's making the electrical connection. Also, it's not a great shape for getting in there. So, yeah, a weak light. All right, this one we know from our previous test, this is an elite shungite, so really reliable electrical conductivity and super bright, okay? But this is not shungite. We 100% know there's no carbon in here, yet I get a connection and it's not super bright. But that means there is a metal or an element in here that does conduct electricity. I don't know what it is. They can mix reconstituted powdered shungite with just about anything, and if it conducts electricity well, I mean, you can take a coin and get the same effect. You're going to get the same effect. So that doesn't necessarily mean that it's high quality or 100% carbon. There are other minerals that conduct electricity. So it's not a 100% way or reliable way to do shungite testing. But you can determine, you know, the brighter, the more steady, the better it's conducting electricity, the higher the probability of pure carbon in that shungite. So I hope that helps eliminate some confusion.